You did a business venture with multiple people. I want to ask you a little bit about TEAM10.
TEAM10. Here we go.
I'm done. I've been sitting here sweating. I'm starting to feel a little bit better.
We're trying to dive in.
The Vegas is starting to.
Bro, you know what's crazy is like, I feel like we haven't even scratched the surface.
No, that's what I'm about to do.
We haven't scratched the surface of like where this podcast is even going to go.
I'm about to do that. What's going on with TEAM10? Or first of all, you're still talking to any of the people that were on TEAM10?
Yeah, I talked to some of them.
Why did TEAM10 not work?
I started the company at 18 years old. I had no idea what I was getting myself into from a business standpoint. It was the very first business I created. And that is what people saw with TEAM10 was Jake Paul learning how to create business and do business and have relationships and like talk to people and build something into a massive thing. However, I was basically like, I was doing like all of it, a lot of it. And then, and I was talent. I was like CEO. It was my vision. And there was just so much going on that I couldn't control everything. And like, when I tried to like hire people in to like help out, they just weren't the right people. They didn't maybe know how to build the business any better than I did. And it just wasn't the right business team surrounding the talent, because as we know, talent have egos, right? And all of a sudden they start blowing up, they start making all this money, and I'm vlogging every single day. I don't have time to like be like, how are you doing? Like, is everything good? Like, what do you need from me? How can I support you? How are you emotionally? Like a lot of people on TEAM10, each person has their own like very specific reason on why they left. There's not like a one thing that it always is.
But that's not the way that the media has portrayed it. The media's portrayed it as Jake Paul being the issue and being the reason why
100%.
everyone left. And that's not the case, right?
It's not the case. Like even some people, we were like, get off the team. But then the media still is like, oh, they left, you know?
Well, plus they make leaving videos.
Exactly.
Right? That kind of became
Why I
a
left
trend.
TEAM10?
Yeah.
Classic. How many of them are doing Coco Loco Bright White Smile ads now?
Do you know about this whole whitening thing?
Yeah.
We talk about this all the time. This is the
I'll say it.
All right, good.
Every employee that we've had at the Maverick House and everyone who has ever gotten an inkling of social media clout through me, after they're done with the Team Maverick,
it is the next step.
the first post is to do a teeth whitening fucking bright white smile.
Do you have a ratio or like a number of teeth whitening?
I don't really. The thing, a lot of them. No, I do.
Just looking for a number.
When I do like check in on them, like sometimes just to see where they're at. Like, yeah, it's along those lines of those things. But honestly, like what I realized though is like like this is something that I had to realize is not everyone had the same vision that I did with TEAM10. A lot of them are happy with doing those ads and just being a regular person versus like content every day. Let's grind. Let's make this a $200 million company. A lot of people can't hang with that. And then you like add in other shit like, oh, this person's actually in a relationship with this person. And then they get into fights. They are hooking up. They're like falling in love, they're breaking up, and then they don't want to be in that like same atmosphere. So like that adds to it.
Yeah, real life complexities.
Like real life complexities. Like Jake, like we're like the Dobre twins, perfect example. But they're crushing it, by the way. I'm so proud of them. Love those kids. Man, like my homies.
They are crushing it.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy watching their videos because they are so bad. But that's why I like watching their videos. Like
but it's that younger audience.
I know, but bro, it's just like,
yeah,
I am so entertained by their content. Shouts to the Dober brothers.
The Doobie brothers.
but like, so like they were like one of the first people on the team. And then it's like, I like was like wanting to grow the team. And I had this vision. I was like, okay, what if we get like another group of twins and they'll like become friends. They'll like kind of like argue against each other. They'll kind of like have this thing like where they're like competing against each other, like doing different things, or like they're just like just like two groups of twins like would be dope, right?
And that was
I had this vision.
That was the Emilio
bring in
twins,
like
huh?
the Martinez twins, and the Dover brothers are like, yo, we like that's bullshit. Like, because the Martinez twins started to like do better than them on Instagram, and like I don't know if that was like had anything to do with it, but they like didn't like that at all, and that was like part of the reason why they wanted to leave the team. So it's like it's just super complex, and like I wasn't able to manage the talent at the time.
Yeah. I remember being in the house, like I originally met you, started working with TEAM10. Like that was like my first
Yeah, I don't know if people
social
know that.
media like gig.
I don't know
out
if
here.
people know that. Like,
Yeah, I met Spencer through Jake.
yeah.
But when I was at the house, like one of the things that I actually really liked because I was older, but you had house rules, like you had things to stick to make sure people were, moving things forward. And I remember behind the scenes because I didn't just help you with videos, like I was helping all the people in the house with content.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I remember hearing people like bitch and complain about it every now and then. I didn't feed into it because I'm like, yo, dude, you're in a freaking mansion and you're living the life that millions of kids dream to live. So
And
how
as
did
a-
people deal with those rules?
Yeah, as a CEO, I was like, "Yo, we need to actually have a fucking real company, and this needs to be like real shit where we can scale it and grow it and be responsible." And I was like, "What should we do? What does every company have? A mission statement? They have like like a commandments list of like what they abide by, what they stand for." And there was that. There was that on that. It was a sheet of paper, and there was that on the sheet of paper, and there was like rules, like clean up after yourself.
No drinking, no
drinking.
smoking. Yeah.
Like ask Jake if you like are gonna have friends over, because it's like, oh, like I'd be in like the middle of a business meeting with an investor, and there would be like people like smoking like in the backyard, and like, oh, all of a sudden they have 10 friends over. It's like, guys, if they're if an investor is sitting there like in a meeting with me and they see like all this like chaos going down, they're gonna be like, oh, this is stupid. Like I'm not gonna
Give you my millions of dollars. And you had some big investors in TEAM10. Wasn't Gary Vaynerchuk an investor?
Yeah.
Who else? Who else? Any big names?
More so like venture capital funds. But yeah, like super legit people that were backing it and still are backing it and like still support me. And I've learned like so much from all of that. But it was a crazy whirlwind of a ride that like obviously was like all over fucking social media, and there was obviously so much controversy
and
around
misunderstandings and gossip.
Yeah.
How much of those relationships drove a lot of your success? Like those relationships, your engagement with other people. Like, do you see your relationships with people like even as far back as like Alyssa Violet, and then of course with Erica, like how much of your success was driven not because of them, but through that collaboration and through that engagement with other people?
Yeah, I think like a really good amount. Like it was that was the idea. Like we're a team.
Yeah.
That's why like I called it that, because the original idea actually came from, and I don't know if I've really ever said this either, but I was 17 years old living I think at the broadcast center.
Yep.
And I had this idea. I was like, I'm going to start a clothing line, and I'm going to get all the Viners to have equity in it. And we're all going to promote the clothing line all together, all the biggest Viners, and it's going to blow up like crazy. And I went to like all the biggest Viners, and they were like, or like, I want 50% of the company, or I don't know, I'm kind of like doing my own, or like whatever. And no one was down for it. So I was like, I'm just going to make my own team of people, so that like one day we can promote a product together and blow it up. Because the biggest thing I didn't see in social media was like creators working together to build a business. Like you see it all the time in other industries, because other people in other industries are actually like business savvy, like rap. Jay-Z's like, oh, I'm going to make Tidal, and all you 40 rap musicians are going to get a little each piece of equity, and they get it because they're business people. They're older in the social media space. Everyone's like, oh, no,
I don't know about that.
I don't know. Like, I don't want to do that. Like my audience wouldn't like when I promote that, or like whatever it is.
I think it's just an ego thing. And everyone has their own agendas.
Exactly.
Everyone has different goals, wants to do different things. And quite frankly, most of the time they think they're the best.
Yeah.
Well, Well, and it's like a lot of it feels like it's a lot of talent. Like you're one of the only people that I've met that really gets the business side. And that's always like I've always looked at you and your brother very differently because
I think I was one of the youngest people to raise $1 million for a company.
Yeah.
I raised $1 million at like 18 years old.
Damn.
like talking to you about business, you want to talk about business. Talking to him about business is like trying to pull
Kill
teeth.
me.
He
No,
hates it.
literally kill me.
He hates it.
I hate it. I hate everything.
That's
about
Which
it.
is, by the way, which is fine because he's a straight up, he's a pure talent. He's a pure talent. You're more of a hybrid between the two, and you have really strong business sense. I learned that about you early on.
Yeah, and I think that's what
Look,
what I love about being your brothers, because I think we're just scratching the surface of, like, I feel like what we just did like the past 4 years was like a warm up for what we're going to be doing.
Yeah.
And as a duo, I think we can seriously like change the space.
yeah, for
forever.
sure.